Let's dive right into this explainer and uncover a massive, quiet shift happening among the world's tech billionaires. You know, the headlines are constantly obsessing over the digital age, but behind closed doors, a literal physical land grab is happening right under our noses. This isn't about code or cloud computing. It's about the literal ground we walk on. Let's look at what's really going on here.
When you think of elite innovators and tech titans, your mind probably jumps straight to artificial intelligence, right? Rockets, quantum computing, space travel. You definitely don't think of dirt. But contrast their public, high-tech personas with their surprising private obsession. The very people who built our digital future are quietly turning their full attention to old-fashioned, physical soil.
Well, no one exemplifies this better than Bill Gates. As a software pioneer, he built his entire multi-billion-dollar empire on invisible lines of computer code, yet quietly, away from the media spotlight and all the Wall Street hype, he has become the single largest private farmland owner in the United States. He's acquired nearly 270,000 acres of prime American soil across dozens of states.
To really wrap our heads around that number, 270,000 acres is an area roughly the size of Hong Kong. All of that fertile, productive earth is owned by one single man. That is just a staggering amount of physical territory for someone whose wealth is historically entirely digital.
So you kind of have to ask the question, why? Is this just a billionaire's green hobby, some philanthropic project to save the planet? Or are we looking at a highly calculated chess move to control the most critical physical asset in human history? To figure that out, we really have to look at how elite wealth managers actually view the ground beneath our feet.
Section 1. Decoding the ghost asset.
You see, elite investors don't look at farmland the way a traditional farmer does. They view it purely as an incredibly resilient financial instrument, and they often call it the ghost asset. It gets that name because it operates completely in the background, totally out of the headlines, yet it quietly outperforms almost every other investment on the planet. Its true power lies in its brutal simplicity.
Just think about the last 50 years of economic volatility. In the 1970s, the stock market crashes. The 1990s see the dot-com tech bubbles burst. The 2000s bring a devastating real estate collapse, and recently in the 2020s, crypto markets evaporate. But through all of those massive peaks and valleys, the ghost asset, farmland, remains a constant, steadily climbing upward.
For a billionaire looking to park immense wealth, farmland offers absolutely zero drama and steady returns. It doesn't care about a CEO's bad tweet, it doesn't care about a quarterly earnings miss, or changing digital trends. It literally just sits there, quietly growing in value. Section 2. The math of survival.
Now, this massive land grab isn't just about avoiding stock market crashes, it's really about anticipating the future of human demographics. It all comes down to a fundamental survival equation. Step 1. The world's population is exploding, adding billions of new mouths to feed. Step 2. The daily demand for food rises exponentially right along with it. But Step 3 is the bottleneck. Fertile land is actually shrinking. It's constantly degrading due to rapid urbanization and climate shifts. So, demand skyrockets while supply literally disappears.
Look, humans are absolutely incredible at manufacturing solutions, but we have hard biological limits. A central bank can print more dollars. A developer can code more software. You can even mine more Bitcoin. But you absolutely cannot create more soil. Earth has a finite amount of arable land, making it one of the rarest commodities in existence. It all boils down to basic math. Whoever controls the land ultimately controls the food supply. When you view the world through this lens, buying up hundreds of thousands of acres isn't just diversifying a portfolio, it's securing a literal choke point on human necessity. Section 3. The hidden water war. And the thing is, Bill Gates isn't the only elite force making this move. Behind the scenes, massive Wall Street giants like BlackRock and Vanguard are shifting trillions of dollars away from digital assets and tech stocks and pouring them into the physical building blocks of survival. They're moving into agricultural logistics, seed patents, and massive tracts of land. Why are the wealthiest institutions suddenly backing away from the digital future?
Because they understand a concept called non-elastic demand. In economics, this is a necessity that people literally cannot choose to stop buying, regardless of the price or economic conditions. Think about it. No matter how advanced our artificial intelligence becomes, or if we all end up living in a digital metaverse, biological humans still have to eat 3 times a day. Let's connect this right to your daily reality. Buying a new iPhone? Optional. Investing in stocks? Optional. Eating food? A completely non-elastic necessity.
Farmland acts as the ultimate hedge against inflation and global instability. When a massive crisis hits, the person holding digital numbers on a screen loses, but the person holding the physical ground wins.
But there's a hidden twist to this land rush that almost nobody is talking about. It isn't just about the dirt itself. Ask yourself for a second, what lies beneath the soil?
Water. Yep, they aren't just buying dirt. They are securing water. In many parts of the United States, particularly out in the dry western states, the real treasure is the massive, hidden aquifers flowing underground.
The corporate strategy essentially works in 3 steps. First, buy the farmland. Second, because of U.S. property law, owning that land often means you own the historic, legal rights to the water aquifers beneath it. And third, as climate shifts create massive, prolonged droughts, you suddenly control clean water. Clean water is rapidly becoming more valuable than oil, and these institutions are creating an invisible monopoly over it.
Section 4. Centralizing the food chain.
This endgame is happening right in broad daylight, driving a massive structural shift in how we get our resources. On one side, you have traditional family farms increasingly going bankrupt due to crushing inflation and high debts, facing literal extinction. And on the other side, massive corporate entities and billionaire shell companies just waiting in the shadows to buy that land up at a discount. The traditional farmer is quietly being replaced by a network of billionaire landlords.
This represents the absolute ultimate in corporate centralization. If you control the technology, well, you control how people work. If you control the media, you control how people think. But if you control the food and the water, you control whether people live. It is the absolute highest level of leverage possible. These elite institutions aren't worrying about next quarter's stock earnings. They're looking 50 years into the future. By anchoring their wealth in the physical earth, they are securing their positions at the very top of the food chain, literally. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought from our sources. The next time you see headlines about billionaires investing in flashy, futuristic digital tech, just remember what they're quietly doing with their real wealth. Because when the noise of the digital age finally fades, the land will still be there, and they will own it all. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you next time.